The views and opinions expressed on From the Mouths of Madness are that of the panel and not of the Geeks Under the Influence Network or their sponsors. Listeners, beware. Coming straight from the Mouths of Madness, this is Lowdown. With me, as always, is
Happy Hunter. Sorry, I didn't mean to fuck with y'all.
No, dude, like that. Oh, it's Linkin
It's bad
Park,
when I can
dude.
recognize the song. I've never been able to recognize the song.
I had to look up at the ceiling because I just saw him going. I was trying to hold it in.
Oh,
Sorry,
shit.
I apologize. I think I was gonna break everybody that quickly.
Oh, yeah. So what is up? More stabby bitches? I don't know.
Franchise bitches?
Franchise
Taking
bitches.
Manhattan bitches.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yep.
That's a good one. So, folks, tonight this is a little bit different, but we had to have Emily on for this because it is their most beloved franchise of all time, and
Very much, yes.
you know, the last episode you heard was it was literally a little over a year ago on Scream, and the input is very much appreciated because you come to the franchise with like a different perspective of being the uber fan of the franchise. So it's like how I would approach a Halloween panel, like, oh no, bitches, you forgot about this. You know, like I'll bring this shit.
Where
You know.
you acknowledge the greatness of a good portion of the series and just quietly talk about the
But I will talk about.
idiotic part of some of the series.
I will talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
If I do too many more episodes with you guys, I'm going to need a cool nickname, just like you guys do.
that's true.
Yeah.
Gotta work on that. Gotta work on that. Gotta work on that.
I think this one is so, the thing about Scream that's so different than I think a lot of the other properties that we've talked about is just like how referential it is to like.
It's meta
not
as
only-
fuck.
But like so referential to itself at
Yeah.
this point.
So I mean, it's meta to itself. Like
Yeah.
at this point, but like
It's not even meta to itself. I would say it's a reflection of horror at the time that's coming out because, especially we're starting with 4, really.
which was Craven's last. It was Craven's last, and he saw the fucking writing on the wall with that shit.
But that's what I'm saying is it's obviously the first one, a reflection of, okay, we're acknowledged horror movies are in this world and people can talk about it. By the time you got to 4, it went, okay, we're acknowledged the level of what horror's at this time.
Reboots and remakes.
Exactly.
All that shit.
And
So,
again, 5 did the same, another refreshing
yeah,
of
4 was the remake. 5 was was 4 the reboot and 5 the remake.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I was right. That one. Okay.
So, 4 originally they were going to have 4 kind of kick off a second trilogy, and that obviously didn't happen because 4 didn't do as well as I think they had hoped that it would do. And so now I feel like 4 is this just like weird outlier film.
Oh, but I enjoy it. I enjoy it so
4
much.
can be just the apology for 3. So we'll just go.
There you go.
Yeah.
That is true though. All right.
I know, and
So before we
anybody
get
that's listened to that franchise one knows how we treated 3 and how I believe Emily defended 3.
3,
So
yeah.
yeah.
It's my
Before-
second favorite.
Before we get into and get bloody, apparently, please like, comment, share, subscribe everywhere you get your podcast. It takes you a quick second, but it does so much for the Madness Boys. Just, you know, the more you like, share, comment, the more we get spread out, and we appreciate that. If you like the content we're bringing you, please share it to everyone else. Thank you so much. And now on to, well, it's about to be a fun episode, I feel like.
Oh
I
yeah.
feel like it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
I hope so.
We will be.
Yeah. So you said 3 is your second favorite. I feel like on the episode you said it was your favorite.
I don't think anything is ever going to surpass
Stay,
the
yeah.
original
Oh, okay.
for me. But it's close. I really love 3. I'm sorry, y'all. I really
Don't be
love that
sorry.
movie.
Don't be sorry, but also, ugh.
And
Look, one of the Halloween 3 is my second favorite of the
Don't
series.
you dare! Don't you dare!
I might have done that on
Halloween
purpose
3.
just to get under his skin.
Fuck you
But,
in the face.
see, I also agree with you. There's a 3 from a series that I also really enjoy, knowing that would get right under Lowdown skin. But yes, so
I think the third one in almost every series is one of my favorites. I love Nightmare 3. I
Yeah,
love
huh.
Friday the 13th part 3.
that's another good point. Thank you.
I love Halloween 3, even with its flaws.
My soul hurts.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I love all of the third
It's like
installment.
you're comparing it to like well-written horror movies,
Oh,
and then there's Scream 3.
Don't do that.
I'm sorry, you're right. I should have done that, but also, God,
You were
damn it.
so much nicer about that movie on when I did the
Yeah.
whole franchise.
I've had a
episode with
chance.
you.
I've had it because
You've had a chance to sit with it.
Yes, more.
Plus, I mean, as we go into talking about Scream 6, I
That's
think
the other
Scream
thing
6
too.
hurts Scream 3 a little bit more because
It does.
up to the, I mean, we had issues with Scream 5, but not on the level of Scream 3. But Scream 6, I think, is the direction I wish 5 had gone into.
I can agree with that, and I know Emily, you and I talked for a length outside after the film, and we were just trying to, we're not trying to, it was there. We were just definitely talking about what they kept the same and where they kind of steered a little bit different. But you have since seen it, so I'm curious to see if there's any differences in those opinions on that film.
So I think the first time you watch any Scream movie, there's this like whodunit aspect of like
100%.
trying to figure out the
100%.
mystery of who is Ghostface. And then the second time that you see that movie, then you have that information and you're kind of just able to watch the movie and watch how all of it unfolds. I liked it so much the second time around, too, because I took my 16-year-old daughter with me when I went to see it. And it was really cool, you know, kind of feeling the feelings that I had when I was like her age and watching the original 3. And then,
Totally get that.
Yeah, and then having
Yeah.
her really vibe with the characters, the new characters, and really be excited about kind of what they're doing. It was cool. It was a cool experience for sure.
Okay.
So...
Yeah, and like, so I will say that's a great point. Who you watch it with can not necessarily make it a bad thing, but it can definitely adjust. Like, when we went and saw, we're definitely like two like horror, like we're watching this shit like, what the fuck are they gonna do? And like, but seeing it from like an innocent point of view, that can I can see how that can also like give you an appreciation for it. Yeah, it's different. Yeah.
I will say, obviously, spoilers. We're gonna.
Oh yeah. I mean, fuck.
It's been out long
It's
enough.
been out for
Okay,
by the time
okay.
this releases, it's been like a month.
And
right?
I will say, as you're playing the episode titled Scream 6, you should know I should probably watch this or I don't care about spoilers. One of them, you
Exactly.
have two choices.
we've gotten to a point where we're like, really?
All right.
Do we really
Yeah.
need to do this? Do we really need to do
Hey,
this?
I listened to Scream 6 and you told me about Scream 6. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Crazy, huh?
All right. So I will say that when we have the kind of first scene with Ethan, that he, you know, is really nice and hands Sam the napkins and Stephen was like, "Oh, that's nice." I was like,
Yeah.
"No, he's too nice. He's
He's too
definitely one of them."
Yeah.
And I was so mad that
Because
that was
there
right.
it was like the whole time. It was like the walk back and everything. And he's just so fucking nice. And I'm like, but the one thing that the film did though is it played that to the very end where there was no turn at all. Where I feel like sometimes
He looked scared in the subway. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God, what are we gonna do? Like,
Exactly.
He
They
was
played
convincingly
that character the whole
terrified
time.
of like, oh my God, we're in the subway and anybody can be Ghostface. So that helped. Like,
Yeah,
that subway scene helped in convincing us. No, he couldn't do it. Look how terrified he is. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
but the movie gives you the misdirection at the very beginning, which I loved. With the, you know, you get the interaction with what's her name from Ready or Not. You know, the
Samara
teacher,
Weaving,
yeah,
Samara Weaving.
and she gets
Oh.
killed in the alleyway.
Oh,
And then you keep
can we all just have an
following
appreciation for her? in
following
that dress?
Ghostface,
Jesus Christ.
the killer.
I'm sorry. She's gorgeous.
Mhm.
Which
Fucking
obviously,
gorgeous.
like with the neon green dress with the little turtleneck, a nod to Tatum and
Oh.
her little lime green turtleneck.
Yep.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
But just
I didn't put
following
that
the
together. No.
Ghostface quote quote killer back to his apartment, and you go, yeah, we haven't had the title card yet. What is about to happen? And then he gets the call and then opens that fridge. I do appreciate that much more than part 5, where they use modern technology kind of fucking with you. But this
Yeah.
one was like, we're gonna fuck and then fucked around with somebody else that just fucked around with someone else. It was like that
Mhm.
double, like,
Did you catch the Jason 8 on the TV?
you have to.
Okay.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
got to.
Obviously.
Any
Like-
any legitimate
like,
horror fan goes,
I mean-
Jason 8? All right, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys did it. You did the thing.
And I listened
That's
to an
cool.
interview with the directors, and they wanted to put it somewhere. They didn't know if it was going to be a
Mhm.
poster or a clip. And then they eventually were like, okay, we've got
Wait, we got a TV here.
Yeah,
we can
they're
make
like,
that work.
throw it on there.
Yeah, I think they got like a list of titles that they could actually use, and that was one of the titles that they had access to.
And there's some shout out to other like actual podcasts, like one of the Characters Rooms has the last podcast on, like they have.
And We Hate Movies too.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, but that is part of Scream. It is always included whatever you said in the beginning. It's always included what is relevant at the time.
Yeah, it's a mirror of reflection of the
when Scream
trends.
5 came out, even though it was a year ago, like podcasts had taken a big upswing during COVID, where people were like, "Oh, I'm at home. Let me do the thing," right? But like the staying power is what shows in 2020 in this new film, right? In 2023, and they really they put that in there. And that's a big part for how people get their media, and instead of like waiting to watch a review, they can like be driving down the street and listen to something because there's podcasters doing it. And I think it's really cool.
I think there was actual chases in this one.
Lots of chases.
I'm just saying,
my gosh.
But literally,
lots of chases.
Part 5 was like, I think we don't need the chase, and and the directors were like, oh shit, we forgot to put a chase in a fucking Scream movie, and so like, okay, we need a big metropolitan area so we can get a lot of fucking running. Okay, cool. New York, we got it. Check.
6 all chase scenes.
Yeah.
But I'm down for the directors because the
directors kind of course corrected some of the stuff that I know Low Down Me kind of pointed out we had irritations with on the last movie, except for one. So yeah, and I don't need Ghost Dad. I'll just throw that out there. Didn't need Ghost Dad. I thought, all right, we're not gonna have Ghost Dad in this one.
But I argue, I give it, because we talked about that in the theater, because I obviously like our like fan showing was very like not a lot of people, so we were kind of able to like talk slightly through it, and like Emily and I, we were like, okay, at least it wasn't like full body. It was just like his head, and I did appreciate that it was just like, and it wasn't even like 100% his face. It was like 80% his face, right? Like they did a really good job, because you can't make it's hard. I mean, dude, when you get older, your face gets wider, and
I realized,
like, you don't look like you did when you were.
I realized why it irritated me in 5, and it still irritated me in 6, and it wasn't the same thing. 5, I just thought it's unnecessary.
They went full body,
but the
like
problem
she's seeing images.
Is Scream has been so close to just being non-supernatural, all reality. And so to give us this part where we have to see a character's viewpoint of talking to their ghost dad takes it out of the realism that is, for the most part, what Scream is leaned into.
Well, he's not a ghost. Like, I think we should say that. He's
imaginary
a schizophrenic apparition, basically.
But it's still one of those things.
Like, nobody else is seeing this.
You could just hear his voice, a la Obi-Wan, all right? You could say,
agree.
Use the knife. You could use the knife to stab him.
Say it like that.
But,
Dad, why do you have Obi-Wan's voice? It's so weird. And you're telling me to commit a murder, but I'm just saying, I just don't think that visual is needed, and it's distracting.
I mean, I think it's true to like actual schizophrenia where people do absolutely see things that are not there. I mean, that's just clinically
right. But give
accurate.
us something else. Give us something else then. So we see it's not just that she sees her dad, a la from the first Scream movie, but like her misinterpretation of like somebody else. Like she stabs somebody thinking they're Ghostface by accident because of her schizophrenia.
Maybe to come.
I do want to see this film a second time in theaters, because this movie is worthy of the big screen. I will say, we haven't mentioned that this movie is worthy of a big screen viewing. It is. Yes. But also, I think what they were trying to do with that was obviously tied into a choice they made in 5, but also they leaned into, they like put their toe in the water of potentially with that character. And they went even harder towards the end where she's holding the mask. And I think that's mainly why that was in there, to tease the audience to like, is she going to... Because they brought it in because she was even more troubled in 5, right? And, and like, I think that was there to like continue that part where she's still struggling with like, my fucking father, like, and she has urges. Like when it comes down to it, she will murder a motherfucker, dude. Like she will fucking murder the shit out of you, dude.
I will say that is, if you fuck up and give her the advantage
she will
and a knife,
fuck you up, dude.
You're not getting sort of stabbed. You're getting stabbed at least 50 times stabbed throughout face, chest, arms. Like she's relentless with that. Like that's when you fucked up. Is if she's above you with a knife, night night. You're fucking
And
done.
I think that was part of it, where she has the viciousness of Billy, but she has the mental health and awareness, and has dealt with trauma that Billy couldn't deal with losing his mother. And I think that ended up being the ultimate story. I could be wrong on that. Emily, what do you think about that?
I mean, yeah, I think that they are definitely setting us up for a potential heel turn, for lack of a better.
Speaking of wrestling, we're talking about wrestling.
We were talking
Yeah.
about wrestling earlier. But I mean,
Y'all
basically,
trusted me.
that's what I feel like they're kind of setting it up for that potentially.
Like she could kill her sister.
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh.
I kind of think maybe, but I also was like, I would kind of love it if both of the sisters had like their own.
So
little
where they
thing.
played quote unquote victims, but are just kind of diverting everybody in the process.
I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, I think there's a lot of different ways they could go with this, including one of the Easter eggs that I do like. I have to talk about that. I don't feel like anybody has really called out is when they went to the theater, on the sign in the theater, the like marquee, it says Jennifer Jolie retrospective. And I was like, oh my God, what if they bring back Parker Posey from Scream 3?
Oh, wow.
She is in this world. Holy shit.
Oh,
So,
wow.
I was like, oh my gosh. And them just putting that little thing out there, just like they did with Kirby in 5. And then they brought Kirby back. I'm like, what if she didn't die in Scream 3? And oh my gosh, the way I want her to come back. Like, she's one I would be cool with coming
Now,
back.
bringing that up, how did you feel as such a huge Scream franchise fan of Kirby coming back?
So I actually fully expected Kirby to be one of the killers. Like, I really thought that's how they were going to
I was going to say they kind of moved into that motion,
yeah.
and when they're like, they didn't send any field agents to check that out. That really helped with kind of setting that diversion.
They definitely set that up for her.
She had a really beautiful moment, like when they were walking through the shrine, I guess we'll call it, where she gets to Jill's shirt and kind of like touches Jill's shirt in this weird, like kind of touching way. And I think it kind of reminds us that these people were friends.
Yeah.
You know? And I really,
Through all of it,
really liked that touch.
Like,
yeah, because you do kind of forget about that. That like through everything. I mean, your friend tried to kill you, but like up till then, like you know, maybe middle school through high school. I mean, like imagine your friends, and then one day, you almost die, and you find out the person that tried to kill you was that friend that you went to the movies and roller skating with and all this shit. Yeah.
Well,
that's kind of crazy.
Tara brings it up too when she talks about, I'm not going to let what happened to me for 3 days. And I think that that's something I never thought about before she said that, was that these are these really tiny moments in these characters' lives. Like, they have a huge impact, obviously, but we're talking about a couple of days every few years that something happens.
Yeah, and that was an amazing line. I remember because that's what she's talking to her sister, and she's like, "You fucking stop! Like, you've got to let me live. Like, I'm not going to stay there with you." And that was the point.
Yeah.
And that's that was a very good line out of that. But that actually is a callback to the first one, because all those kids grew up together in Scream 1, and then all of a sudden, like, ends up being you two.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Whoops.
Like,
I mean, come on. Literally, they attempt to kill the girlfriends. I mean, like, they really.
But they
don't
grew
give a
up
shit.
with they all knew each other's shit. They all knew each other's trauma. They all knew each other's story.
Yeah.
And it fits very well into like a callback to like the fact that the franchise can actually call back to the first film is really awesome.
Well, this film is so referential to the second film, actually. So while
with sequels,
while 5 takes a lot from the original, I mean, this one you have a killer who is related or a parent to the previous killer.
Yep.
You have that it takes place in a college, that the final scene takes place in a theater, that they have the drawn out tense scene when they're in transit to someplace. So in this one,
the trust of the boyfriend, because you have
mistrust of the boyfriend.
yeah, because
exactly,
he's the cross street boyfriend, you know, like Like, you can't be here anymore because like you.
Can I like how he had, can anyone else admire how he had basically like unga bunga lines the entire
yeah,
film?
yeah.
Like, he just,
But you also at this point, this is
I mean,
great about-
he did.
But this is what's great about the series is that you don't know if he's playing the
Was that
part.
Josh Hart? Who was that? Who was the boyfriend?
No,
of that?
it was Jerry O'Connell.
Jerry
O'Connell.
O'Connell,
yeah.
With the other, yeah.
I mean, even down to like, you have the same line for when they're wheeling Chad out from when they wheeled
Yeah.
Dewey out. You have a party scene that's at the frat / sorority parties, and they're the same frats and sororities. So the OKB was Derek's frat from 2.
No shit. That I didn't pick up
Omega
on.
Beta Zeta,
Yeah.
which they ask her if she's going to rush. That's Cece's sorority from the second one. Even the "you didn't see it coming, did you?" kind of line that Quinn gives, that's the same as what Mickey gives in the second one. There's so many callbacks to 2 from this movie.
One constant callback that has been through not so much in 3 because 3 didn't know what it was doing, but like the other ones. Oh yeah, yeah.
Slide that knife in slowly and
Can
turning.
we talk about like there's always a scene where there's the setup for like the front foyer area and a staircase.
Mm-hmm. Because they want him to run up the stairs.
Yeah, but like the side that it's on, even the side, like if you remember the first screen when she shoots Billy, he falls against the staircase first. That's to the left of the door where she's pointing into the house, and like every like that was in 4, that was in 5, that was in this one. Like,
well, I mean, it's the same house in 5, so
Yeah.
fair. But even this, when like the dude goes to the door, and like obviously the death doesn't go that way. Because I don't want to spoil some of the kills because this movie had the most brutal fucking kills out of any Scream movie. Like there's no, I don't think there's any argument.
There's
there.
one
stabbed through the nose, stabbed through the mouth, stabbed through the eye.
Oh, it's so good.
Which way? That's right. There was a stab through the eye.
Fuck you, Hunter. Hunter didn't have any broken bones.
What?
I got stabbed through the eyes.
I know.
I mean, I did sort of get broken bones, but no close above them. I mean, you don't fall from the fucking ladder hoisted without fucking dying.
What was
and
my
broken bones.
What was my like during that high tension scene crossing the ladder? We were actually on 2 different pages because I was like, because my thing was because he had already cut her up the stomach.
Oh, we were all we talked about that.
I thought that he was going to shake the ladder enough till her guts fell out, and that was a wasted potential.
When she first got on the ladder from the windowsill, I thought he was going to get there in time. Yeah, go into her stomach.
You went one step further.
Grab her intestines, push her off, and then just hold them, and then she goes down like a bad bungee.
Scream's never gone that far.
I know. Yes, you're right. But some of the kills they had in this, they haven't done either.
True.
I agree. I think these were really different feeling kills than a lot of the ones that we've had before because we're used to just knife stabs. And I think now, too, with Chad's living at the end of this one, I think we've gotten into the realm of anybody can survive.
How many knife stabs?
Both twins should be dead.
Hold on.
Technically.
What are we at with the
speaking.
stab count from Dewey to for the twins? Because Dewey by what? Part 5 had been stabbed
a lot. I don't know the exact amount.
20 plus?
I should know the exact amount.
Probably 20 plus times. Can we just say that?
Sure. Yeah.
20 plus times. So
especially after 2. Oh my god.
Yeah. 2 he got fucked up.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. No wheelchair, no I have no use of my right hand because, nothing. He gets stabbed and can walk around. He's fine. So the twins, I mean,
it's weird. He had that limp into, and then that
just
got
went away.
dropped completely.
Yeah.
When he had to run, it was like, oh wait, what, huh? It was like Usual Suspects, but
they forgot to remind him. Yeah, they're like, you're actually, survived getting stabbed multiple times.
You had nerve damage.
Yeah,
you had nerve damage. I will say
you can't reboot the nerve damage.
Going with like some of the killers. Or the specific killer that set up the museum in the theater did a good job of like when it hit Dewey, I was just like, oh man, oh buddy, like that was like I made a sound in the theater. I was like, oh, fucking Dewey.
So the shrine, like for like the franchise fan, I think was just so. Like it was almost like too overstimulating because there was just so much stuff in that shrine.
I can see that.
But I also said too, I was like, well, it's got to be one of the cops. I assumed it was going to be Kirby. But I was like, there is no they can't have any evidence left in these cases.
Yeah.
With this. Like the evidence locker is empty
yeah.
for these cases.
Like, oh,
with all
DNA
this
sample
stuff.
of another
Remember
killer.
we both just like we're like grunting at the screen like when the phone came on, like, oh, that's from
The
fucking
fax
3.
machine.
The fax machine.
Jennifer
yeah.
Jolie's fax machine, and then
Yeah.
and then his lighter, Tom's lighter, right next to it. I was like,
Yeah.
"Are you kidding me? Like
Yeah.
those survived."
Yeah. When the whole house got annihilated with an explosion. The fuck out of here.
It made me laugh. The other one that made me laugh too was they had all of Gail's books, and one of the books is called Clock of Doom, which is kind of a callback to them saying that Stab 5 had time travel in it.
That's
Oh,
right.
that's right.
And it
That
made
was from
me
4,
laugh
right?
so hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Because 4 had all those the meta fucking intro.
Yeah.
To the, yeah.
And there wasn't as much mention about Stab in this one as there have been in the past. And almost
Well, except the beginning where he's like, we got to finish the movie.
Exactly.
The beginning was like in direct connection to Scream 5.
but that's
and after that,
about it.
kinda,
I mean, all the other
yeah.
one. I mean, especially I'd say probably 4 and 5. There's kind of constant bringing up. I mean, as honestly, the motivations for the killings.
Yeah.
Is the
So
Stab
that makes you
movies.
wonder, like, is Scream 7 gonna reference the new was it Stab 9 now or whatever in the franchise?
My God, I hope so.
Or the
I want
Stab-
them to go back to Hollywood so bad.
or the Stab MTV TV series that came out. Are they ever going to have some kind of thing like that? Because
Oh, 'cause there is a Scream TV series that
That's
came out.
what I'm
so
saying.
yeah, oh, that's a good
I
call.
have
That's
yet
a good
to
call.
hear them bring up. Remember that shitty MTV series that Stab had? Like,
Yeah. Oh,
didn't bring
that'd
that
be
up.
great. That'd be
I
great.
mean, they might.
I'm
That would
surprised
make
they
it
haven't
really,
so far.
That would make it very referential, right?
Yeah.
Because we've had the Scream thing, and we've also had Teen Wolf and some other
I think
direct.
at this point they're not recognizing that as part of the like cinematic Scream universe.
Well, but they don't even
it
have to
might
because
be.
they don't even have to because it's Stab. So they can just acknowledge it without acknowledging it, you know? So
Yeah. I think they did. I did listen to, I think, probably the same interview that you listened to, and they were talking a little bit about Ghostface magic in that.
Yep.
And they did kind of say, you know, like we're kind of just leaning into anything is possible, you know, that Quinn could have been the one who threw Gail's boyfriend through the glass. Or that, you know, or that Chad could have survived.
Because that was the thing that bothered me with
No,
5
no,
was the way it was lined up. You knew that it
No.
had to be the teenage girl that killed Dewey lifting him up with all of her.
We
teenage
brought
girl-
that up on the episode, and they had the same thing here, where it's like because based off of the way
Yeah.
the way the
Detective
killers revealed
Bailey's in the
themselves,
park,
yeah.
and Ethan is with them.
Yeah.
So it could only be Quinn.
And
at
it's
that
like, there's
point.
no way. There's no way. I'm
she
sorry.
took down that hulking man
That's what
and
I'm-
threw him through that
No
glass case.
way. I'm
But we don't know.
sorry.
She could have stabbed him in the dick or
I
something
don't-
like that. I
Also,
mean,
she took that hit from the cast iron pan.
yeah.
And just
There-
got
again.
right back up.
There's no way.
But I think at this point,
Ghostface magic.
yeah, that's the thing.
When you
I think the
have-
directors are like,
when
look,
you have it on.
look, we're trying to do misdirection, and if you pick up on certain people, then after a while, it becomes almost too obvious. So I think that also kind of works with it. Is that
It does, but for rewatch value, you're like,
You know what,
That's
though?
eh.
I just thought about this because, like, the Ghostface magic works until you're kind of like revealed to the audience, that is.
Yeah.
And so Jason, who reveals himself at the very beginning, is killed very quickly. And then, you know, Quinn, Ethan, all of them survive kind of intense chase scenes with
Yes.
these people. And it's not until that they take the masks off at the end that they're fully killable.
Well, okay. So we got to talk about one thing that was a big problem, and I kind of left it alone after viewing it because it was like the most ridiculous scene in the movie. But why would you charge somebody with a gun?
man, yes,
Like the dad at the end, he's like charging them like with a gun. I'm like,
It's
no,
so funny.
you stand.
You brought the same thing up to me
because it's
I didn't
the
even
part
notice.
that you get to the end, right? You get to the big reveal. And then you get our main chick. What's her name? And she's got a knife,
Melissa Barrera.
and she
Sam.
sees the dad, and he's
They both scream at
unloaded.
each other.
He's unloaded. He has no more bullets. She screams and runs at him with a knife. He screams and runs at her with the gun. As in a motion to stab her with the gun. I couldn't figure it out. That part,
Oh.
like, if you're like, oh, he's crazy, okay.
Yeah. Well,
I
we know
Thinks
he's
a gun
crazy.
could
We
work
know he's
as a
crazy.
knife. I don't
mean,
know.
also he just saw his last 2 children get brutally murdered in front
That's
of him.
true. It was just
so-
weird the way he put the gun, like the way she had the knife, and they running towards, like, I'm gonna hit you really hard with this gun.
Oh, but
She's
when
got
they
a fucking
when
knife.
they collide, it was like a hug and the gun's on the outside. I'm like, wait, with the gun and the thing, and yeah,
But yeah, no,
Yeah.
that part was
yeah, that was a bit ridiculous.
was
That's a
pretty
bit
fucking
much.
silly.
A bit much.
Plus, he's kept it cool, and I guess you had to do that. But he went way the fuck bonkers by
Dude,
the reveal.
I told you, Timothy Olyphant, dude. That was the worst part of 2 was the Timothy Olyphant character.
That was the worst part of 2.
What was the worst part?
That musical number that they put in the middle of it. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I'll take
right
that
now?
over Timothy Olyphant going like just complete
No.
ape shit at the end.
No.
Where he's like, "Woo, I just responded to an ad. Be a killer." Like, really? The fuck out of here.
Oh yeah, they also put Maverick as one of the costumes just to like give a little extra nod to that
They
scene.
did with Maverick.
I was like, and they had date rape Frankie as Joel from Risky Business.
That's right.
I
Yeah.
didn't catch that in the Halloween part. No.
Oh my gosh, they
I was
made more than 200 costumes.
Yep.
for
And they
this
got
movie.
lucky because, I mean, that subway scene.
Like I said, the
It's
subway
fucking-
scene that was like
That's
my
what
bread and butter. Like,
But that was so much fun because as a horror fan, you're watching that, you're going, there's that. You got your typical, Freddy and Pinhead, but then
Mhm.
there's other ones you're like, oh shit, it's the fucking twins from Shining. Oh shit, it's like, and so that was
the
fun.
big one for me, we talked about this, and like you and I talked about this afterwards. Was that was the first and only time I've ever seen a Babadook cosplay.
Yeah.
and that was the Babadook. They're, like the way they
And that
did the
one
ghost,
was probably easier
pale
for them to
face.
get away with, but they threw out everything and the studio said, put it in, and
Yeah.
well, it should be
I
okay.
wonder. I gotta look back and see like who. No, because The Shining was Warner Brothers, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't New Line Cinema. So
Yeah, no, it's Warner Brothers.
Yeah. Okay. So
But that
Who'd they have to
just
pay?
Legal cleared it.
yeah,
that
legal cleared
they're
it. Yeah.
just costumes. So
Yeah. Nice.
but that whole scene with all the costumes you're playing that and the way it was shot with the lights going out and obviously there's multiple ghost faces in there.
so good.
Yeah, it was so well
Who's
shot.
gonna get got?
Yep.
And that brings me to a question. So we talked about this after the episode. We said the second viewing we need. I wanted to watch the second time to look for this. Did you do that during the viewing where you looked for the differences in the masks depending on the killer? Because as they revealed themselves, they all had different they wore different masks from the original.
Mhm.
So they were all worn and cracked differently. You know?
So I did try, and I'm gonna stress try. I did try to look for that. I don't think that the differences were noticeable enough. I mean, I do
And quick
have
shots and stuff. Yeah.
I do have a kind of theory, I guess, on which person I think did which kills. I mean, some of that is pretty evident based on, like we said before, who was available to even do those kills.
Mhm.
I think Detective Bailey was probably most of the early kills in the movie. And then I think we had obviously Ethan for the latter scene kills. And then Quinn was the later ones, the attempt on Mindy as well as the attempt on Gail. And
Is that the only
Gail's
reason Gail was in the movie? I feel like if you look back on the film, it's like, why was she really in the movie?
I wanted Gail to have her final curtain in this one.
But they still didn't kill her.
They did not. And I
thought they
remember in the middle of the movie, before this scene, I was like, what if it's Gail? I looked over to Steven and I was like, oh my God, what if it's Gail? What if she just snapped after
But that's what's
doing-
kind of fun is that, you start thinking, what if it's Kirby? What if it's Gale? I love that the movie in no time shows us cards to
Yeah.
that. Like, you're like, yeah, Gale could be. I mean,
You
she's
would have
been
made
through
a
some fucked
terrific
up shit.
killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I was like, she would have.
I think this was the film, especially with, outside of, let's go outside of the actual movies and like just how directing, writing, studio team treated, Nev Campbell as far as and how they treated Sydney, where she's just like a name that gets brought up. I mean, that's real talk on the franchise. That's something the franchise
that was
fucked
Nev
up.
Campbell's negotiating, and I mean that I feel bad for the directors having to go. Okay, so we're officially making a movie without Sydney.
It was her issue because they didn't want to pay her.
Right, but that's I don't think you can put that completely on the directors because they don't.
No, it's not on the
they
directors.
Don't have to say that was the
it's
studio.
On the studio.
That's on the studio, and that's on Nev Campbell going. All right,
but the directors had to work around that, so then they had to do some
So I think it makes sense to bring in
mention and it just.
I
they
think
kept
they
doing
handled
it
classy.
Yeah, I was gonna say
as much as they could. They didn't they didn't talk down on the character,
Gale,
but
you bring in Gale, so you have a connection still with the original series.
Yeah,
you obviously, you have no idea how this movie's gonna do. 5 did pretty well, but they just came to terms with the studio didn't want to pay Nev Campbell what she asked for, and so
I'm saying I'm sure she wasn't asking anything she didn't deserve. I'm just saying.
No, and she said that she couldn't walk on set knowing that she wasn't being compensated fairly for what she brought to that set. But this movie did incredibly well.
Oh yeah.
It has the highest opening numbers of any Scream movie
100%.
to date.
100%.
And it did way better than 5 did. So, I am very interested to see. I assume, based on the interview that I heard with Radio Silence, they said that their writing team is already kind of putting up some framework for 7.
Yep.
There is nothing as of today when we're recording.
We're not going to get it a year down the road like we did with 5 and 6.
Yeah, they haven't been approached
get...
about, okay, now let's roll this out immediately.
Yeah.
But with the success of the opening weekend of 6, we're going to have a 7.
Which,
well, it's still
oh my
success.
God.
It's still
With
right, but I'm saying the opening weekend. That opening weekend numbers, that's kind of the key.
Yeah.
So.
And with them saving Gale and putting that little Jennifer Jolie Easter egg in there.
That was my go-to with that was okay.
I hope so.
Nev Campbell's gone. The only original cast member, right?
Yeah.
They should have just sent her off.
But that also,
you know what I mean?
that also
I
sets you
know,
up
man,
by having her in here as a suspect because, we've learned since that first movie, Gale will do whatever she needs to get her name back on the high, either a book deal or just the media attention.
Oh yeah, that was the callback because of that. And
when you get kind of desperate, who knows?
Yeah.
And again, what if Dewey was that kind of stopping her from
grounding her?
Yeah, grounding her, and then now that he's gone, she'll do whatever she can. That was the theory.
So we're getting Gale from part 1.
That was the theory from the first movie, and I know you've read these theories where Gale, pretty much kind of pushed and set in motion Billy and Stu.
They did the same fan theory for Dewey as well. I never really got into those, and I will say that I think the other fan theory that's been out there for a long time is the Stu is still alive theory. I don't.
You
you
did bring that up.
But
you did bring that up at one point. You're like, maybe it is fucking.
Does he have the strongest head in the world? I know he's got giant long fingers, but unless his giant long fingers stop the TV,
you know what? There was a Stu cameo. There was a TV that crushed his fucking skull.
Exactly. Yeah. There's
seems
to be a Stu cameo in everyone.
That's what we got. Exactly. That's what we got. Leave it alone, people.
Yeah. That one seems ridiculous.
I'm sure as nice as he is, and I've heard he's this amazing sweetheart at cons. I'm sure even he is tired. Matthew Lillard is probably tired of answering that question.
He's said that he would come back. He has said that. I know we talked about it before, but the original plot of 3 was supposed to be him surviving that and supposed to be him kind of starting this cult of Ghostface. And then, I think that has gotten more traction. Obviously, they played with it a little bit in this one when Mindy and Kirby are talking and Mindy says, if you believe he's really dead. So I think that they did play with that and play with the fans who think that. If that's what we end up getting in 7, which I think, is at least a possibility, I'm going to be kind of bummed out. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
I don't want to hear this for the next 3 years either, right?
We did point out several characters that have survived multiple stab wounds. So for us to go, well, there's no way he could survive that. And again, we referenced Dewey, who again stabbed 20 plus times. So
outside
they'll
of
bring
TV
back
on
who
the
they didn't bring
face.
back.
I just don't understand how nobody would have brought it up. like that he wasn't really dead. Like if a body disappears, I mean, it's 1996. Like I don't know. Maybe
I'll reference this real quick, and they made a 3 from Hell. And if you watch the end of Devil's Rejects, those motherfuckers are lit up with like 500 bullets. How would you ever
more than that?
Those bullets didn't hit any major organs and 3 fucking people, and they all survived. So
very lucky.
I know. But I'm just saying, if you want to make it happen, you can make it happen. Because the end of Devil's Rejects says all 3 of those motherfuckers are riddled with bullets.
Fuck that movie.
And 3 from Hell says, yeah, but they didn't really hit anything important.
Yeah.
You're
fuck
like,
fuck that movie.
So
movie was terrible.
You can survive a TV in there.
Yeah. So, all right. We could literally, there's more to, because it's a Scream franchise. There's so much more to. I see you over there.
I just want to talk about
Give her that moment.
There are 2 Wes Craven Easter eggs in this movie that I think are so great. One is the license that they have for Sam that shows up is actually Wes Craven's address is what is listed on her license.
Oh.
And the other one is Abe's Snake Bodega, which they run into. Abe Snake was his pseudonym when he did porno movies. So
I heard about that one. That's awesome.
I love those like real deep cut Wes Craven Easter eggs that were in there. I thought those were just like brilliantly like sprinkled in. So there were so many. I mean, everything from even like the first kill, Laura. Laura is Sid's fake name that she uses for the crisis line in 3. So, I mean, there's just so
when she answers the phone, she's like, hey, this is oh my fucking God.
There's small things that low down me will pick up. Then there's the Scream ultra fan, Emily, who'll be
that
like,
is so no, but like,
gotta give me props because I would just never pick that up.
It's like, duh, yes. Like,
yeah.
As much as I don't really like 3, I do remember that whole scene where she answers the crisis line and says, my name, I am Laura. Like, holy fuck. That is, that's awesome.
There's a lot in here, like even down to like when she gets the call from the date that's supposed to be showing up. That's Samara Weaving's actual husband and dog.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just like little fun stuff like that. That's like just sprinkled throughout this film, and I love that about
the voices don't sound the same.
Speaking of voices, I know we're getting close to the tail end of this, but
yes,
can we just say thank you? Because just as you have to have Brad Dourif and
Chucky, you got to have back as
Roger Jackson.
His voice now is essential.
Yes,
and I don't want to have a Scream movie without that voice.
Yeah.
And in the subway sequence, they have a Mojo Jojo. Which he also voices Mojo Jojo from Powerpuff Girls.
Yep.
And they have a costume of Mojo Jojo.
But he's at that level of importance that
I didn't know that.
I don't want to hear. I want his voice in these movies.
He has to.
Exactly.
He has to.
So
because you can always tell when the killer ever reveals, whenever the killer reveals themselves, and they use the voice changing thing, it's like, oh, that doesn't sound the same.
Yep.
Because you're not Roger Jackson.
Yeah.
So,
Also, apparently, such a nice guy. So
he's been in a bunch of cons we've been to.
I know. I gotta get.
I don't want to get a particular movie poster signed. I want to find a good like Scream just poster to kind of like encompass, and then I can just get anybody from any movie to sign it. I'd rather.
I still like that retro one that they had the mini ones from last year.
The mini ones we got at the fan thing are really sweet.
Oh,
yeah.
They're really cool.
I have it in the car still. I'll show you after we get
yeah,
really cool.
check that out.
Actually, there is one though from this movie that they did, which was the subway line. I don't know if you saw it. The subway lines that make up the ghost face, and they have all the different names of all the different characters. In the
that
movie.
I have not.
So that would be a great.
No, that is rad. If there's like a print, like a buyable, high quality like
There
poster
definitely
version
is.
of that,
I've
then
seen
I
them
would
out there.
I'd buy that all day and I would get that signed. Yes,
That would be a good one.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So again, there's still so much to talk about, as there always is with this franchise. This is what Wes gave us. He gave us the start of this amazing thing. All in all, I think everyone here can agree the franchise is amazing.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Great fucking franchise. But if it's not obvious, before you hear everyone's final verdict on the film, take a listen to what's going to happen in the GUI universe.
In a world with too many reboots and remakes,
two men will stop at nothing to make it even worse.
Join Mike the Hobbit and Tandy as they play by their own rules while pitching new takes on some of your favorite and least favorite films and TV shows. What podcast would dare to bring this upon the world? This is Smack My Pitch Up.
My name is Amy Bogard,
And I'm Mike the Hobbit.
and we are the hosts of Deeply Upsetting, where we use our expertise to answer your most upsetting hypothetical quandaries, such as, what non-winged animal deserves wings?
And what body part deserves a secret mouth?
Which cryptid is the worst roommate?
These questions and more that plague you will be answered on Deeply Upsetting, available anywhere you get your podcasts and at GUIPodcast.com.
Coming straight from the mouths of madness, I'm Lowdown.
I'm FU Hunter.
Do you love horror?
We fucking do.
So this is a podcast dedicated to all things in cinematic horror. We're talking movies, television, composers, special effects artists. We're going to fucking cover it.
So if you love horror,
Embrace the madness.
Hey guys, Scotty P here with Smash on your left. And we are the Geek Fathers. That's right, bringing all the trials and tribulations of being a geeky parent.
So welcome to our world.
And as always, join us
Or cry.
In a world of blockbuster movies, there's another dimension.
The dimension of schlock cinema. Join us at Beautiful Disasters on a journey into the fringe territory of B-movie abandon.
We review the flicks that are forgotten or underappreciated to give them a proper place in the annals of celluloid history.
I'm the Groots,
F.U. Hunter.
your guides at Beautiful Disasters. Come along with us for a fun ride. May
the schlock be with you.
All right, so it became my third favorite Scream movie.
It is also
That's where I'm
my
at.
third favorite Scream movie.
That's cool.
It shot right up my list. It goes right behind 3.
yeah, I believe. You know what? I was about to say it's probably my third. My rankings are still a bit different, and 3 is not in a close
FU Hunter and
area.
I'm gonna make a bet here. Not even bet. I'm gonna make a call here. Is it 1, 2, 3? I mean 1, 2, 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1, 2, 6. That's 1, 2, 6. Top 3.
So 2 is actually my least favorite of the franchise.
Oh
and
my
it I know.
She had said that before.
And
I know it still hurts.
And it continues to be. But I will say, I think this movie takes away everything that I didn't like about 2. I think the
Yeah.
pacing is so much better. It didn't have any really terrible theater scenes. It didn't have any really terrible musical numbers in it. It was everything that I loved about 2 and nothing that I hated about 2.
Oh, Jada dying was pretty rad, and so was
and
Omar
that
Epps.
was-
And can I
good.
throw
Yeah.
a thank you to advertising a movie taking place in New York
And actually
and
filming
actually
it.
fucking taking
New
place
York.
in New York and actually involving shit from
no.
New York besides a walking down Times Square, kicking a boombox scene. An
Yeah.
actual involving
Yeah.
itself. I know it didn't take actually film New York
No, it
But-
was in Montreal.
in Montreal. No, I know that. But I am saying we didn't spend an hour and a half
You know how much
on
it
a
would cost
fucking
to film a
boat,
fucking
and
movie
then
in
New York?
Scarface
That.
shows up for like 10 minutes in front of Times Square.
You know how
okay?
much it would cost to actually film a movie in New York because how much
Oh.
they tax the fuck out of you?
Yeah, usually Vancouver is the go-to.
Fuck
that-
New York as a state.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, they will tax the shit out of you instead of like welcoming that to their. No, they're like, no, we're
I'm
going to
just
charge
glad-
you a fuckload to
I'm
film
just
a movie.
glad the directors didn't even fuck with horror fans and start Scream 6 on a boat. And all of us go, oh no, not again. What are you
That
doing?
would have been fun.
And then
That would have been
That
fun.
actually,
that
yeah,
would have been
I would have
fun.
laughed.
And they're like, all right, so we're on a party boat, guys. And you're like, no,
No, not
Go
again.
fuck yourself. Yeah, that at least didn't happen. If I was the director of Scream 6, I might have had just a small, like, oh, we're going on this cruise, everybody. You
I
know,
would have
and-
had them like run towards the marina and miss
Yeah.
the boat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just missed it. Oh,
Damn it. That would have, yeah.
genius.
Yeah, see, yeah,
But yeah,
something, just
no, for-
another nod. Yeah,
It passes for me too. I really enjoyed the kills. I think is what did it for me. Is that they did not hold back on the kills. They were brutal from the first kill to the last kill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff, Skis.
I love the pacing of this film. I think they took notes from the fifth one and they just
add chases.
The chases made the movie. And everybody who is talking about this is a really long Scream movie. I mean, all Scream movies are long. They're all right around the 2-hour mark. This did not feel like 2 hours for me. You know, I felt really tense almost the whole movie.
Compared to 5, definitely. Because I remember Lowdown and me watching 5 and going, when are they going to kill some people? Because there's a lot of dialogue here.
Yeah, we were like, where the fuck is, what am I watching?
10 minutes, kill.
I'm watching a Scream
10
movie.
minutes, kill. 10 minutes, fucking with you, kill. Like, it's
because
pretty
they've already
paced
set
out.
up these characters.
Yeah.
You know, we already know these characters. They don't need to give us any more real backstory. They're killing off all the new ones anyways. So
and they're following the rules of the sequel.
But I actually
really.
cared.
Well,
I actually cared about Annika. Like when she died and she did that whole I don't want to die. Like I actually had a moment where I was like, oh no. I was like, you're definitely going to die.
That was one of the worst
oh no.
deaths in 5. Oh my God. It was so annoying. The whole like running around the yard and like, that was so annoying. At the party, the frat house. That annoyed the shit out of me. As I've rewatched 5, obviously since, and it still bothered me. It's like, it's the whole like, helps right there, but it's like the kill that I love, but also annoys me from Scream 1. Where Drew Barrymore's right there. There's her parents, and it's like,
throw the phone.
Just right?
Throw the phone.
Something. God damn it. Still to this day, when I rewatch it, that kill pisses me the fuck off.
Yep, it bugs me too, obviously.
It's a little ironic,
I love that one,
don't
though.
you think?
Shut the fuck up.
Oh.
Shut up. Oh, all right. That's it. On that. Okay. Yeah. Anybody else have any final blah, 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 blahs about this film?
No, just overall. Happy I saw it in the theater.
Again, go see it. It's still in theaters. Go see it in theaters. It is definitely worth seeing in theaters. I can't stress that enough. Because we all know we've gone there and gotten some stinkers, and we've watched this giant screen that's supposed to be just mesmerizing and amazing, and it's like, oh, yeah.
No, this is worth seeing in the theaters.
100%. And so that's it. And until we talk to you again, embrace the madness.
Join us at GUIPodcast.com.